Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down what makes great stories tick. And today, oh man, we're diving into something special. It's a script that's just 65 seconds long, but I swear, it packs more pure terror into one single page than most full-length horror movies. So let's just get right to it. This one line, this is the entire engine of the story. He only moves when you blink. It's so simple, right? It's like that game you played as a kid, red light, green light, or statues. But here, they've twisted that innocent idea into an absolute, bona fide nightmare. So the big question is, how in the world can just 6 lines of dialogue create a legit masterpiece of tension? That's what we're going to figure out. In this explainer, we're going to go step by step, beat by beat, and see how this incredibly lean script uses every single word to just crank up the fear to the absolute max. All right, section 1, an unsettling premise. This is all about those opening lines that lay down the rules for this nightmare. And believe me, this script does not waste any time. It just throws you right into the deep end with this terrifying, impossible idea. So listen to this first line. Mom, the man in my room, he moves when I blink. Right away, this frames the horror in such a smart way. See, it's not just some monster under the bed. No, this monster plays by a very specific, almost scientific rule. And the scariest part, that rule is tied to something you literally cannot control, blinking. I mean, think about it. How on earth do you fight something that uses your own body against you? And that brings us to the first real conflict. And you might think it's the kid versus the monster, but not yet. It's the believer versus the skeptic. You've got this terrified child trying to convince their mom, and the mom who is just completely rational, calm, and, as we'll find out, fatally wrong. And right from the jump, we, the audience, we're on the kid's side, which just makes everything that follows so much more tense. Okay, on to part 2. Escalating the terror. This is where we see how the script uses dialogue to show us the growing threat without actually telling us anything. It's brilliant. Then the kid says this. He was closer last time. Wow, just 4 words and they change everything. This is absolutely genius. Suddenly, the monster isn't just a spooky figure in the corner anymore. No, it's an active predator. It's moving. The danger isn't static. It's closing in with every single blink. You can just feel the room getting smaller. And this is where you can really see the two worlds colliding, right? On one side, you have the kid, whose reality is he was closer and their panic is just skyrocketing. On the other side, you have the mom. Her reality is you're imagining things again, and she's just getting more annoyed. The threat to her isn't a monster. It's just a child's overactive imagination. And that right there is classic dramatic irony. We know the kid is telling the truth, and it's just agonizing to watch the mother walk straight into this trap, totally clueless. Let's just look at this timeline for a second, because it really puts the speed of this thing into perspective. At the 3-second mark, it's in a dark corner. By 7 seconds, it's already closer. And by 30 seconds, it's standing right behind the mom. It crossed an entire room in less than half a minute, all in the tiny gaps created by a few blinks. That's not just fast, that's impossibly fast. It makes the threat feel completely unstoppable. All right, section 3 is the unspoken rule. Here's where the script makes a really key shift. It stops being about the monster itself and starts being about the mechanics of how you survive it. The kid says, "Mom, don't blink." And this line is so important because suddenly all the power and all the terror is transferred directly to the mother. It's not about the monster anymore. It's about her. Can she do this one simple yet totally impossible thing, not blink? Her entire life now hangs on stopping a basic human reflex. You know, this trope actually has a name. It's often called quantum locking. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you're probably thinking of the Weeping Angels right now. It's the exact same idea. An entity is basically frozen in place as long as you're looking at it. What makes this so scary is that it takes this supernatural horror and gives it this cold, hard, unbreakable rule. It plugs directly into that primal fear we all have. You know, the fear of what's happening just outside our line of sight, the terror that your own body can betray you at the worst possible moment. And that brings us to the climax, section 4. This is where the script uses sound and, maybe more importantly, the lack of it, to create the absolute peak moment of fear. And then the kid says it, because he's standing right behind you. And bam, that's the moment. The mother's entire world, her entire sense of reality, just shatters. In one terrible instant, her reality is forced to align with her child's. And the thing she thought was just a silly fantasy, it's now breathing down her neck. She finally gets the validation that her child was right, and it's also her death sentence. And just when you think it can't get any worse, a new voice enters. A deep, distorted voice that just says, "Too late." And that confirms everything we were afraid of. This wasn't some mindless beast. It was an intelligent predator, and it was just waiting. The mom's fate was sealed long before she ever realized she was in danger. And look at how the script handles the action. It doesn't describe a thing. It just gives us one word, a sound effect. Snap. The sound of the lights going out. And with that one sound, we, the audience, are plunged into the same total darkness as the characters. It leaves our imagination to fill in the blanks, with nothing but the sound of a scream that gets cut off way too soon. But hold on, it's not over. This is Section 5, a twisted protection. Just when you think you've caught your breath, the final lines come in and just completely reframe the entire story. So, the lights come back up, and the kid says, "She blinked." The way this line is delivered is what makes it so chilling. There's no fear, no crying. It's just a calm, simple, factual statement. Like, she broke the rule. This is what happens. The consequence is absolute. I mean, just look at this reversal. Before, the kid was terrified and the mom was skeptical. Now, the kid is totally calm and the mom is, well, she's just gone. In the span of a few seconds, the entire power dynamic has been completely, horrifically flipped on its head. And then comes the final gut punch of a reveal. That deep shadow's voice speaks again. Now you're safe. But this time, the script says it comes from inside the kid. Oh man, this whole thing, it wasn't an attack, it was a deal, a transaction. The mother wasn't a victim of a random monster, she was a sacrifice, traded for the child's safety. And that just leaves us with this one truly chilling final question. Who is the monster now? Was it just the creature? Or was there a second monster in that room all along? Maybe this was some kind of dark pact between the child and this protector. The story doesn't give us an easy answer. It just leaves us hanging in that terrifying gray area, forced to wonder about the real price of being safe.